Tēnā koutou katoa, everyone, and welcome back to Mucky Hope Productions. I'm your host, Mucky Hope, and tonight is a very special night. You know, for the past month, we've been talking about every single player on Australia vs. the World, all their connections, friends, and or enemies I have on the cast. And tonight, we're going to put the talking to the walking, and I've got two very special guests with me. I'll start off with a very handsome geezer on my right. He's been with us since the very start, all the way from South Africa. Please welcome the amazing Richard. How's it going, bro?
Glad to be back, and I'm more excited for the guest you have today. But yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I didn't really notice it until you pointed her out, Richard. But, you know, we do have a very special guest with us tonight for the first time on Mucky Hope Productions. I mean, you know, she needs no introduction. I've been a fan of her longer than I've even been podcasting for. I wouldn't have known who the Nullify Tech was if it wasn't for her. So, ladies and gents, please give a round of applause for the amazing Shannon Guss. Welcome to the pod, Shannon.
Amazing intro. I love that. I wish I could intro like that, but I cannot. So thank you so much for having me. Yes, we have all, I think, spoken a lot about these players. Like, whoever goes home first, whoever it is going to feel like so much wasted energy on however much time we've spent, I think, analyzing these players. But tonight we will see who that waste of energy will be.
Yeah. I kind of feel like, Shannon, this whole season is going to be like the pre-merge of game changers and winners at war, where pretty much all of our favorites are just going to be knocked out one after the other. Like, is it going to be a fun season or like a depressing season?
Well, that's why it's very important to have a consistent returnee cast. Like, if you have an uneven returnee cast, usually the big dogs will be taken out early because the hyenas will know to team up. Something like Game Changers, which was so incredibly inconsistent, was like the perfect fodder to have a very disappointing boot order, which was terrible. And then you were left with people that we didn't love and Sari. But this season, the cast is so good. Like, yes, it's impossible to kind of have consistency because there aren't, 14 Tonys, but we have as much of that, I think, as we possibly can. So I can't imagine it'll be devastating. But I think if you look at a glass half full, like whoever we lose, we will also be left with, 13, 12, 11 legends. And the cast is so good that you can't really be upset with who you have left. So I don't think it'll be that depressing. Even though we will be depressed every night, we will also be happy.
Yeah. And, Rich and I, we've spoken about this quite a bit as we've gone through each and every player, but I'd love to hear from you, Shannon. What's your thoughts on Australia vs. the World? It's the first ever global championship of Australian Survivor. We've had Russell and Sandra come to play the Australian version, but now we're getting people from South Africa, New Zealand, Finland, Quebec, like how are you sort of feeling walking into the first ever global showdown?
Yeah, I mean, even when they talked about it at first, it was like, it didn't feel real. Now it doesn't feel real in a different way just because we've been waiting for so long. Like, now it feels like, I don't know, the anticipation couldn't be higher. We've been talking about it for a year. I think almost literally 1 year. So I'm extremely excited for it. And I just hope that it's everything we've wanted it to be since people have been discussing and brand stealing stuff like this for probably years at this point. So we'll see if it can live up to those incredibly high expectations.
Yeah. Well, Richard, we've spoken nice about all the players. We've had great things to say, bad things to say. But do you think it's time we meet our doomsday and finally, put where we think everyone's going to start placing on the season?
Yeah, because I feel like part of podcasting is like criticizing people, saying this one is good, this one is bad. This is where we put our money on the ball, because if we rank someone where they shouldn't, this person's gonna suck and then they win, we look like the losers this time. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good, fun game we're gonna be doing.
Yeah, and I guess just full disclosure before we do actually start the tier list, none of us have been spoiled on who the boot order is, who wins, who goes up when and where. This is all pure, honest, fan fiction we're doing. Yeah. I know that there are a lot of spoilers sort of floating around on the internet. People like to post stuff and drop stuff. That's why we've done a pre-recorded, because none of us want to be spoiled in any way possible. So, let's get crack-a-lackin'. So, tonight, it's going to be a little bit different, as JLP always says. Yeah. So, I've broken up the tier list. So, we've got winner, chicken dinner. So these are going to be, one Australian and one world who we think is going to win this season. We've got cheeky old jury duty. we obviously don't know what the jury system's going to look like. When is a merge even going to happen? They might even merge after the first vote. Who really knows? So from the jury duty, so it's going to be like the top 7 kind of players, pretty much like the end game, who we think is going to be making the end game. Pre-merge, who's like not necessarily first out, but who we can't really see like making it too far. And of course, cheeky one night stand, as always, who's going to be out the first night, the first half an hour of the game. And Shannon, let's start off with Sigrid. I know Sigrid is one of your favorite players. Where do you think Sigrid is landing?
I think Sigrid will be top half. She's not my winner pick because I assume she's going to get screwed by a twist, but it would be foolish to put her worse than top half because if you look at how Sigrid does in 5 of the 6 seasons of reality television she's played, she always makes it incredibly far. Like her record, obviously first of the Traders. I think she was like top 5 in Big Brother. And then obviously she came 4th, 3rd, and 6th in a way that was incredibly unfair on Survivor with only 1 pre-merge entry. So her odds of going very far, of being disarming, of people not seeing her as a threat that she is, but then eventually getting screwed by a twist are, at this point, other than the Traders, pretty well worn. So I would say that she'll probably go really far and then fall agonizingly short.
Yeah, see, I actually have the complete opposite take of that, Shannon. I think, like, she's not first boot, but I don't see her making the merge. Like, I feel like she's in a really good spot on the World Tribe, but what happens if they mix things up? You know, and I feel like these aren't ordinary players. They aren't going to let Parvati and Sigrid just steamroll the World Tribe either. And I think Parvati, she's got that winner title. She's got that legendary kind of status title to her. And while Sigrid does as well, I can see them maybe going for Sigrid before they go for Parvati, if that kind of makes sense. So I'm more personally leaning towards pre-merge. But how about you, Richard? Like, where do you sort of see Sigrid going in the season?
I love Sigrid, and I'm very delusional, so I'm going to go with the Delulu is the only Salulu. Sigrid is going to win the season. Like, that's what I want.
He's going to win?
Yeah, like, she can win a dinner. Like, I want her to win the game. Yeah, no jokes. That's the team I'm going to put her at.
I don't think she'll be pre-merge because, again, she's really very rarely, she's never been, like, voted out by just, like, an outright majority of the tribe. Ever.
Yeah.
I think literally ever, right? Even when she went here as villains, it was a plurality vote with an idol on a split gone wrong. And then she was voted out the final 3 by just Amanda. In Micronesia, she went out at fire when 2 people were immune of 4 in Panama. And then she wasn't voted out at all in Game Changers. So she doesn't get voted out. And even in other seasons where she should have been the biggest threat, like hybrid seasons like the Traders, or she was the only reality TV contestant who came on to Big Brother, like she should have been first boot. And here she's actually a little more insulated considering she's with these other legends, and she went very far and even won one of those seasons. So her track record is that the people just don't. I know that this is a high caliber cast, but she's been with good players before who have not voted her out. So I just can't imagine this would be the one time she is pre-merge. It would be a very unfortunate thing for Australia if that were true.
She needs to win.
Yeah. Well, Richard, what's your argument for Sigrid to win? How do you sort of see people allowing her to make it that far into the game where she can win?
I think what I love about watching Australian Survivor is that there's these big characters with big egos and they aren't afraid to like show it. But I think with Sigrid, she can easily lower a threat level by being nice, being helpful, being like an advisor. She's not a threat when it comes to challenges, so people are not going to look at her. She literally has the perfect personality to make it far in every game, and I just hope that this is the time she wins. She's awesome. I love her.
It feels like we should go for the middle ground and put her in the jury.
Okay, yeah,
probably. Yeah, all right.
I want her to win too. Yeah.
We'll move Cheeky or Sigrid into jury duty. First one on jury duty. Woohoo. Actually, Shannon, is there jury duty in Australia?
Yes. My husband was summoned for it so many different times and got out of it in so many different ways. So you get on a list. You get on a list for like a year and they just keep calling you. It's not great.
Yeah. I actually made the list one time, was supposed to, be a part of a jury. And it's funny because I milked the crap out of it. Like I was being like, hey, work, sorry, I can't come in. I've got like jury duty stuff, when I had like
deciding someone's
nothing
fate
on. Yeah, exactly. But I think they very quickly caught on because I was only, like 18. They're like, okay, this guy's like getting kind of full of it. And then lockdown happened, so Jury Duty was officially cancelled. So it's like, sorry, I can't prove anything nor disprove anything because it's COVID, So yeah, that's how I was able to not get told off or, lying about.
Well, didn't you also need to do like jury duty on Equilibrium or something?
Oh no! So this is for like an actual like court.
Yeah, that was like for like the crimes.
Oh, that's
yeah. This is for like actual like crimes and stuff. Yeah. Anyways, enough about jury duty. Let's talk about David, the golden god of Survivor. I believe he's one of the most successful reality TV contestants of all time after his win at Dondi. Is that true, Shannon?
He won the most money in network television history.
Yeah.
Was what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's pretty good.
Easily, the most successful reality TV contestant of all time, with the highest, like network reality, TV win. However, I'm going to go with Pre-Merge personally. He's a huge character, the only winner on the Australian tribe, and a lot of the promos has been about him, even the recent one with potentially him and George working together. But I just don't see like him making it like a deep run in the season. What's your thoughts on that, Mr. Richard?
Yeah, I totally agree with that opinion. I think he's just too big. And also, if people watched, I think maybe Shannon can correct us. Maybe there's people who've seen him win the like huge class prize. No,
it would have just it was like I think a couple of weeks before this. But obviously, Parvati could spread the information.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Something tells me she might not do that because she probably has a lot to benefit from, like relationship with like. So yeah, I do think he's probably going to be pre-merge if there's going to be a pre-merge, because if anyone keeps David, they'd be silly. Like, how that guy's like big, strategic. He's like the triple threat. There's nothing he can't do in Survivor, and the more people give him time to sort of like wedge his way into alliances, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I'm happy to be outvoted. I'm higher on David than most because I just think he's so well connected. Like, I don't think he'll win, but I think he will be like the nexus of the season that goes pretty far until they inevitably take him out. So I would put him in jury duty, but I'm happy to be outvoted. I think he also could go like early merge and it just kind of catches up to him even with his relationship. So I'm happy to put him in that kind of pre-merge space. But for me, it's kind of at the end of that pre-merge space at worst.
Yeah. I mean, like when I did my own personal like sort of rankings on where I think everyone's going to go, David for me is one of those like players similar to like a Simon and Brains versus Brawn, right? Where it's like, can we really let this guy get to the merge? Probably not. So like he gets sniped either just before the merge or maybe like a swap, like around like the final 10 potential kind of like mark again.
Yeah.
Richard, are you locked in pre-merge or do you reckon similar to Shaunie's jury duty?
Nah, pre-merge, definitely.
Pre-merge. How about you, Shannon? Are you still locked in?
Fine.
It's fine? Yeah. All right, so the golden god, cheekily pre-merge, and Richard, it's your boy George. You've been like saying all preseason long how much you love George.
Yeah.
Where's George landing?
He's going to be the winner of that season. I love his dad bod. I love his speedo. I love his personality. I love his beard. I love his tattoos. I love everything about him. I know this guy's going to win. He just always makes it fun.
I thought Suri was winning. There's been 3 players. How can 2?
I don't know. I just want my favorites to win. Can't 2 people win one season? I don't know.
No, distinctly not.
Yeah. I mean, surely everyone just wins this season, right? It's like it's similar to the episode in Big Bang Theory where they did the whole amazing race thing. It's like, but check in your pocket. See, everyone was a winner all along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone watching the season would be happy about that. Your favorite wins, no matter who it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you were being sarcastic about George. Like, I thought you were kidding. But you really feel that way about George?
I actually love George. He's amazing.
No, I love George so much, but I just feel like he'll be first boot.
I hope not. I hope not. I really hope not.
See, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent about him being first boot. Like, I can see if it's like night 1, like, maybe it's like the blood versus water twist where you have to vote someone out on the match right then and there. Then maybe he gets voted out like that. Yeah. However, it's George, right? Every time we thought he was going to go, somehow he finds a way out of it. Like there's so many players, I guess like maybe Tony's a similar example where they just pull the impossible out of the hat and you're just left mind blown. How do they even do that?
Did it twice.
And so he's done it twice, exactly. Yeah. And while I don't think he has longevity in the game, I can at least see him making it past the first vote, which is why I kind of see him pre-merge, but I can be talked into putting him in first boot as well. What's your thoughts, Shannon?
Well, if Richard has him as the winner, it feels kind of bad to put him as first boot. I'm happy to put him as like pre-merge, but no later than that. I don't really have a good other first boot pick. I just feel like George is so screwed. Shaunie wants revenge on him. She's saying in promos, David has a lot of power and is not, I think, really connected with George. I just feel like it's a really bad spot for him. So,
Shannon,
and he's also such a huge threat.
I think he's just going to find an idol, like literally first day, and then just spin it around. Now everyone doesn't know what to do.
All right, put him pre-merge because the idol might save him for a vote or two.
Yes.
I don't have another first boot pick, though. I came in prepared with George.
Can I just say that one thing about George, though? Have you guys noticed that on all the promos, they've gone out of their way to do like an ass shot of George? Like he's always bending over and they always go, whoop, like right in on it.
I mean, talk about cheeky one-night stand.
Cheeky one-night stand. But cheeky naughty times, with good old George. All right, I'll chuck him into pre-merge.
Yeah.
And now, Shannon, we've got Janine, the godmother, the Boost You CEO.
I kind of feel like I could put her in jury duty. Like I don't think people will be scared enough of her to get rid of her. I think she's very stable. She's a good ally. I am a little worried about David coming after her. I think she even said in her bio on Template that she was worried about that. But I don't really see any reason for her to go early. So I think I'd put her in jury duty.
I don't know. For me personally, she's the first boot.
Really? Why?
So here's how I sort of looked at it, right? This was before like a lot of the promos and stuff came out. But how I feel like all of us saw it was, all right, you've got the Champions 3, you've got Sarah who's connected to David and Luke, you've got Kirby who's connected to Luke. There's an instant 5-person sort of alliance, right? But I think everyone's going to go out there and be like, oh, that's the Champions 3.
Right.
Right? And so that's how I can kind of see also being George's saving grace. It's like, do you really want to go? Like sort of a similar argument to the Americans on the World Tribe. Do you really want to move forward as a 6 with 3 Americans? Right? I can sort of see that sort of argument being played. And it's like, well, who do you go for? Do you go for David on the first vote? Maybe not. He's probably a good shield. Do you go for Luke? I don't see that happening. He's too well connected on the tribe. So I sort of feel like Janine might be like that easy first boot, like kind of thing, if it's a night 1 kind of thing. That's just my personal view on Janine for a cheeky one-night stand. Where's your sort of thoughts on Janine, Richard?
Yeah, I mean, she came on to Survivor and tried to call herself the Perfumed Scorpion. I don't think that nickname lost, and she might last in the game as long as that nickname lost. So, yeah.
She was the godmother, though. That was, completely enduring. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Unless people, like, keep it in. Wait, Shannon, you watched The Apprentice, right? Didn't she, in some way, screw over David?
Well, she wasn't a contestant. Like, she's an advisor. He got out. And I remember they did make it a David Janine thing, but I don't know how much it gets screwed over in The Apprentice when you aren't a contestant. So I think it was more just like for TV. But they'll definitely play up like her feud, her quote unquote feud with David, who's definitely like a real life friend of hers. But if you want to put it, I could see it. I am worried about Dave. I don't really see it as first boot, but I am worried about David having it out for her. And even if she says that in her bio, that's concerning. So if we want her to be first boot, now that I don't know George, I'm not like so mad at it.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Richard? Is she first boot, pre-merge, jury duty, or winner? Like, where do you sort of see Janine?
Yeah, I reckon she's going to be like early out. So we'll just put on cheeky one-night stand.
Cheeky one-night stand? All right. Let's chuck into cheeky old one-night stand. Now we've got Cassandra. And Shannon, we haven't seen Survivor Quebec. We had 2 guys come on to really, tell us everything about Cassandra's game. So I'm very curious to hear from you. How well do you think Cassandra's going to do on this season?
I mean, I think that she's like very lovely to get along with. Everyone wanted to work with her in her season. I don't think that she's as cutthroat as some of these other players, which is a bit of the issue. But I could see us putting her in the pre-merge. Like, I don't see why I get rid of her early, but then she's a massive endurance threat and she's not very well connected. So I could kind of see at a point if she wins a challenge or two in the early merge, which are often endurance, and she's so good at endurance, possibly the best at endurance on this cast, which is a high bar. I think they could get rid of her at that point. So maybe pre-merge.
Pre-merge? How about you, Richard? Obviously, we had, Jodema and Survivor Twist tell us all about Cassandra. How are you feeling about Cassandra's chances on the season?
Yeah, I definitely think she's going to make it far. She doesn't seem like a threat. And from all the promotions we've seen of her, she seems like very nice, likable, easy to talk to. And if people don't know that she is an endurance threat, she might make it quite far and possibly make it to the finals. So I think I'd like her chances.
Yeah. So would you say sort of like a jury duty or like
probably
a pre-merge?
Yeah, pre-merge.
Pre-merge. Yeah, like I'm sort of in between pre-merge and post-merge, where it's sort of like I can see her going really far, but it's also the same with I can see all these players going really far, right? So it's just about sort of pinpointing where exactly do they sort of cut off. And I do think maybe a pre-merge sort of space, I can sort of see Cassandra more fitting in with like a really bad swap, or maybe the first vote is, hey, we've got two people that we don't really know, Tommy and Cassandra. Yeah. Maybe it comes down to them, right? So, I'm happy to chuck Cassandra into pre-merge. And now we've got Kirby. Rebel Curbs, Shannon.
Yeah.
She was the hot star of Titans vs. Rebels, one of the biggest Rebels on the season.
Yeah.
She's coming up to play for a second time. How well do you think Rebel Curbs is going to go?
It's hard for me to say. She's not very well connected. She knows George. She's friends with Luke from before she played. She won't know any of the other players, but I think could innately get on with certainly someone like a Tony. I think that she'd have a lot of fun with Tony. So it's hard for me. I'm not at the win for her. She is a very good player, but all these players are. So I guess I could be convinced about where she kind of falls in that pre-jury kind of vibe.
I think she's more of a jury kind of player, and my sort of angle on that is who's coming for Kirby, right? There's so many, egos, so many players on the Australian tribe. You've got Shaunie wanting to get rid of George. You've got David and Luke there. Is David going to come for Janine? David and George going to actually work together? I felt all the big names are going to start taking each other out, but Kirby, very similar to sort of like the merge of Titans vs. Rebels, where, she didn't even really know what was really going on at times, but she sort of just went with it, and like a cockroach, she survived, and then she took control of the game. So I could sort of see something similar happening. So I'd personally chuck her in jury duty. How about you, Richard?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think she has a similar profile to Sigrid, except she's slightly better at challenges, but she's very likable, non-threatening, good to work with groups, good with one-on-one connections. So I see her making it quite far, especially in a season with these big characters and stars. So I think jury duty is a perfect fit for her.
And I love Sigrid. She's a lot better at challenges than Sigrid. But also, so Sigrid, Sigrid, Cass couldn't vote out her number one ally, and Sigrid convinced someone to give up their immunity necklace. Sigrid is a stone cold killer. Cass is too sweet for her own good. I think that's the concern. So I wouldn't put her as a winner, but happy for her to be a juror.
Yeah.
Juror? Yeah. All right, so let's chuck good old Curbs into jury duty.
We don't have finalists for this.
We don't. Well, I mean, Shannon, do you reckon it'll be a final 2 or a final 3?
I kind of think a final 3 because it's so short.
Same. Yeah.
If you map it out, it kind of has to be a final 3 based on the number of episodes, which I think is 10.
Okay.
And I think they do doing a final 3, and it's just not a lot of days.
Yeah. I like final 3. Final 3 forever.
No, I love a final 2. I'm very upset by it, but I think that it'll be a final 3. I'm upset. I don't know what's happening, but I'm upset by the idea that it could happen. I think a final 2 is way better, especially when there's 16, how many people? 14 people, I should know. 14 people. Voting out 11 feels like such a cop-out. It would feel a little better if they were at least voting out, as many as possible. But yeah, getting it down to a final 2 would make it feel a little, I don't know, just broader. But I think it'll be a final 3. But yeah. So Cass might be in the good one to take to the end because she's very loyal.
Exactly.
Too loyal. and she's lost at a final tribal council before. So if anyone knows that, it's a good thing to utilize. If anyone has seen that season, which I think is probably not a factor, but if they had, she'd actually be a great finalist to try and beat. And like, she also doesn't have the reputation. So she'd be a great one to take to the end, but I don't know if they'll know that.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about Lisa? You know, Shannon, like, I'm pretty sure she was the first season you covered of Survivor, right? Survivor Thailand. You know, that was sort of when I was entering peak Survivor fandom as well for me personally. That's when I discovered Instagram games. I was like, what? People play games online about, you know, Survivor. That's sort of when I was becoming huge into Australian Survivor as well. Shannon, how do you think good old Lisa is going to go?
I mean, why would they? I don't see why they'll get rid of Lisa. I think that she'll be able to do what she did in her first season, which is like pretend to be one type of way, which is more the fan, more just kind of there for the fun time. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know that she can turn that around to win. That's my concern for Lisa. Like, if anything, they'll be like, she'll do too good a job and creating that perception that people won't vote for her. So, I mean, does she go? Is she connected well enough to go far? I kind of want to put her pre-merge because she's not connected, but I don't see why people would get rid of her.
Yeah, because my sort of assessment on Lisa is that she's so good at like playing down her threat level, right? Like I rewatched some episodes of Thailand recently, or re-listened to your deep dive you did with Lisa, and you know she's so good at sort of being like the mom, like the nana of the group and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm just doing this, you know, don't mind me. And
she's like in her 40s. She's not the nana, like she's
yeah. I was a bit over the top. The
older sister, really.
Yeah, older sister, like older cousin, older sister. Yeah. And everyone just trusted her like too much. You know, like Dylan really believed that Lisa was on his side. You know, like so did Matt, even though they were working very well together. But Lisa was like, you know, I need to start getting rid of Matt, and that's sort of where she's trying to get the idol from him. You know, and obviously, as we all know, she turned like his high school best mate against him, right? Which, how do you even do that? That's probably one of the greatest moves in International Survivor.
Yeah.
And so I can see her, like, as you mentioned, Shannon, I can see her pulling similar kind of stuff off. But it's a reputation thing at the very end. Like, you know, with us Kiwis, we don't have the greatest reputation for reality TV, you know, out there in the world. If she's up at the end with pretty much almost any Australian or any of the Americans, and probably Rob, she just gets wiped out.
Yeah,
I think.
that is a
just
tough spot.
Reputation.
Yeah, she's almost too nice for her own good against these like really big personalities. Which makes it kind of a hard spot. But I don't know why you would get rid of her early.
Yeah, with me personally, I chuck her in Jury Dirty. That's sort of where I'm sort of leaning. How about you, Richard?
You know, I feel like for her personality, especially if I look at the internationals, she should, like the actual internationals, she probably has the best chance of sort of like winning, because I feel like she has the cutthroat ness of being like a super fan of the game, and she has a low enough threat level to like manage it enough to probably make it far. So I still want to put her in chicken winner dinner, but
you can't have 3 winners. That's absurd.
Yeah.
We have had half the cards, and half of them in your mind are winning. You get 1 winner pick.
Like, I feel like if I was doing this alone, I'd probably like have half the cast in chicken winner dinner.
That is no. There should be one person who is 1 winner. Who is your 1 winner pick?
Yeah. Oh, it's so hard. I'm gonna have to probably do a coin flip.
But a 7-way coin flip. Yeah. It was funny because when Sigrid came out and you said she was your winner from the get-go, I'm like, oh, okay, your winner pick first up. But no, I didn't realize every second person was your winner pick.
Yeah, I just love these people so much. I want them to
it. Yeah. Shannon, have we come across your winner pick yet?
No.
Or
soon we will. Yeah.
Soon? Right. So I guess I'll be happy chucking her in jury duty then.
Yeah.
If we all think she's going to go pretty far. Amazing. So good old cheeky jury duty. Now we've got the king of the jungle. And Shannon, you may not know this. Richard, I kind of feel like you might know this, but not really. But I am his biggest fan in the world. I've got like 2 creeping jumpers, now 2 creeping shirts. Shannon, something that was really cool was Luke actually sent me some free merch, the like immortal hat and immortal like shirt as well. He organized it with Brendan and with Hamish or Stag's Yarrow. Hamish crashed at my place, and then when I went to go to the gym, came back, and there's this huge parcel just on my bed. It's like, what? what the hell is this? And yeah, it was absolutely mind-blowing. Yeah, I love Luke. I think he's bloody phenomenal. He's so good at these games. And, maybe it's kind of biased, but for me, he's winner chicken dinner. I think he's got the social game, physical game, strategic game, plus as well all the connections. And, when it comes to like social players, quite often you need like a lot of time to really integrate yourself, flip people over, make people feel very loyal to you. Kind of like what he did with Ross, getting Ross to like steal food from Nova and stuff like that. And that's how Luke knew
Jericho.
Ross was really loyal to him. The example of Jericho as well. But in a fast-paced game like this, was so strategy heavy, you're going to need someone who's like, really funny, really comedic and stuff to really lighten the mood in very like tense sort of days. And that's how I can see Luke winning the season personally. How about you, Shannon?
Yeah, Luke's my winner pick as well. And I assume also Richard's because he's on the card. So I think between the three of us, we can probably put him in the winner slot because Luke, as you said, insanely well connected. Also, like, can kind of hide. Like, weirdly for Luke, even though he's one of the biggest names in the franchise, he has Shields and someone like a Dave. He has kind of these bigger names in the US players as an example, but he's still a big enough player where he could win at the end. He only really gets better, I think, as he's played. Like, I think he played well in 2017, but his 2019 game is even better than that. And he's played more reality TV since then. He won BBVIP. He played The Traders where he was, he was screaming into the abyss, but he was good, but it was just a frustrating season. So he's not out of practice. Like, he's played a lot of reality TV, but because he last played Survivor in 2019, he is actually kind of forgotten about, I think, a little bit. Like, I think people don't remember that he was so good. I think they think of him more as a character, where he's just been honing his skills and getting better and better. So I think he's in like kind of a perfect spot. He has so many friends on his tribe, pretty much everyone. I think he'd get on well with George in a different world where Dave isn't kind of like, possibly fighting with George. He's friends with Kirby, Dave, Sarah, Janine. I don't see why I wouldn't get on with Shaunie either. Is that the whole tribe? So that's crazy. I think he'd get on really well with Tony. I think that Tommy could really like him. Like, I just think there's so many options for him. And he's my winner pick for those reasons.
Yeah. And like, it's kind of crazy that you mentioned that, Shannon, because when I look back on especially the other males on the Australian tribe, like we think of George, like the Fraser tribe comes to mind, right? You see George as like this huge villainous player. Similar with David, you've got like the Daisy move that comes to mind, which is like super petty but super entertaining. And while Luke does have massive moves like, the Tessa blindside, I think it's one of the most chaotic votes of all time. And even the Abby vote as well. It never comes across as villainous. There's always sort of like fun, jokey, like, oh, look what Luke did. That was kind of crack up. But there's like, he doesn't come across like a villain at all, even though he kind of plays like one at times. So yeah, he's got a great reputation going into the game. But how about you, Richard? Is he one of your many winner picks, or do you sort of see him going somewhere else?
Well, on the contrary, I think Luke is going to be a cheeky one-night stand. I think he's going to be close to it. People are not going to like him. If this is the season to vote out your best friend, this is going to be the season. So Luke Toki is going to be...
I thought you were joking.
Yeah, it's going to be first vote. Like, if people are smart, they're going to take that out. Like, it's a smart decision. It makes sense.
Are you joking still? I don't know.
No, I'm joking, of course. Like, Luke Toki is amazing. He's a social beast. Like, if you look, I think also if you look at his job title, like he has to, like, I think he's in mining or something. He has to make friends with strangers on the jump. And I feel like in this short season, he's probably the best person to do it, So, yeah.
Also, he's already actually friends with almost all of them. Like, he doesn't need to make friends with them. He just like is friends with them from the seasons he's played with them, and also just life, like Kirby.
Yeah.
So yeah, so is he one of your winner picks?
Yes, my fourth winner pick.
Okay, so unanimous.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, winner chicken dinner. Good old king of the jungle, baby, Luke Toki. All right, let's move on to Parvati, shall we? The Black Widow. Richard. She made an all-girls alliance. She dominated her way right to the very end of Micronesia.
Yeah.
Everyone else in that alliance was pretty much a hero, but she was the one villain, and now she's seen as one of the greatest villains in Survivor history. A Mount Rushmore player of Survivor. How is she doing this season?
I don't know. In my opinion, I think the when they say you ring a bell so much that it stops sort of like working, I think if she tries doing the flirting thing, it's not going to work for her. People already know how good she is at the game socially. Challenges, she's not too bad. But like, I feel like her threat level is so huge that people would be silly to let her go far. So, in my opinion, she'd be lucky to even be a part of jury duty. In my opinion, so I'll put in pre-merge.
Okay.
She has to go. She has to go.
I think a lot of people would have Parvati as a winner pick because she is also very well connected. She has two really close allies in David and Sigrid that puts her in a good space. And like she comes in as a threat, but she always comes in as a threat and often does very well as a threat. She's not someone who can slip under the radar, kind of like she's like a David. So I think that she would do well. I think that she is a good winner pick, but I just think Luke has more there. But I think, I would put her in jury duty because I think even though she's such a huge threat, she's good at managing that threat. She has a lot of people who I think will have a lot of reverence for her and want to work with her to a point. So I would put her in jury duty because I think that'll take her quite far, but I don't know. She's such a huge threat. I don't know if she can win with that, but I do think that she is like a big threat for this game.
Yeah, because in Winners at War, she was like pre-merge, right?
Yeah. But Winners of War was kind of different. Like Winners of War, in Winners of War, she hadn't played any reality television for 10 years. So like that's a long layoff. She played her seasons in 3 years, 3 seasons in 3 years. Then she had a 10-year layoff. And like Winners at War, it was like new school, old school, and then it had like there was like a pre-game alliance in the swap. And that was just an unfortunate swap and a pre-game alliance. I don't know how much I put of that on her. She's since come back for Dondi. She's done Traders. Like she's a little more battle-worn in kind of this phase of her reality TV career. And I do think she's like primed to have like her actual like renaissance in Survivor, which I don't think Winners at War was. And I think this could be.
Yeah. I personally see her as like the fallen angel of the season. I think she's going to go really, really far in this game, but I think this is almost like a swan song for Parvati, right? We're sort of like, maybe it's the last time ever playing Survivor. She comes up so short, one of the biggest legends of the game. And it's like, maybe if she won that final challenge, she would have won the whole season kind of thing. That's how I personally sort of see Parvati. So I'm personally going to chuck her in jury duty as well, Shannon, just because I think, she's very well connected. And like, while she's seen as a huge threat, she's like a threat that you want to play with, right? I kind of feel like
they'll definitely. I don't think anyone will get rid of her early because I think that there'll be a lot of people who will be really excited to play with her. I think Shaunie, it's a really good cast for her as well. That's the other thing. It's other than her friends, it's people who I think will love her. Like I think Kirby could. I think Shaunie, Sarah. I think a lot of these women, especially, and some of the men. I think, and David. Like I think that she's like really well connected, and it's a cast that will really respond well to her to take her at least far enough. I think.
Yeah. All right. Shall we chuck her into cheeky jury duty then?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now we're on to good old Rob, Richard. And you've had quite a few hot takes about Rob in the preseason. And so now's your chance. Where is Rob going?
Yeah, I'm going to start venting. I want him out first. Like, people are usually surprised that, like, you're South African, you should be rooting for him. I'm not his biggest fan. I'd be happy if Dino or, like, I don't know who, Graham was on the season. But, and also, like, he's too massive. Like, if people have eyes, they're going to see that he's big. They probably know nothing about him, which is more scary. He's quite charming with his muscles and blue eyes. People are probably going to, like, want to chuck him out as soon as possible, especially in that tribe of, like, the World Tribe. Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, how about you, Shannon? Like, I know you've spoken quite highly of Rob. Where do you sort of see Rob going in the season?
I mean, as a South African, you got to want it. Like, you hear the South African accent on Australian Survivor. It's, representing the franchise. But I think Rob's a phenomenal player, but he does have a very unfortunate mix of being like such a clear physical threat and just threat generally. Yeah. Like, I do think that even if they don't know him, the one thing they know about him is he won in a very dominant way. Whereas like from Lisa, you might not know that she had like that amazing move. Like she can hide as a comparison. As like a winner, they don't really know. He's got that threatening look, but he's also disconnected. So I can imagine if it's like, who should go home? Oh, maybe that like massive guy with the beautiful eyes who I don't know. I think that, so I could see putting in pre-merge.
Yeah. For me, it's really hard because I've been trying to think who is the first boot for the World Tribe, right? And I don't know. For me, Tony
I struggle with that too.
Yeah, because like everyone keeps on saying Tony, but it's like I feel like Tony's too obvious. You get what I mean? Like, is Parvati and Sigrid really going to let an American be the first one out? And then maybe it's like, well, we got rid of one, we might as well keep on going.
Yeah.
I don't see that really happening, right? I think Tony's a phenomenal shield for so many different players on the World Tribe. But I don't see Tommy being a first boot. I don't see any of the women being a first boot.
Well, it does depend. I mean, I don't think I think like Sigrid would love like a Lisa. But you can be a little concerned for Lisa because the World Tribe does seem a little less physically strong than the Australia Tribe. I don't know how long they think they're going to be in those tribes. And they do have like some, good contributors, like obviously like Rob, Tommy, Cass, Parvati are all really good. Tony won a lot of challenges. But maybe they look at someone like Elisa because Rob will help them out in challenges, especially if they're going to have those like big jewels. Like who's going to go toe-to-toe with David? So they might need Rob early.
Yeah. But Shannon, do you reckon Tony could go toe-to-toe against David?
No. I mean, physically, I mean, in the game, yes, but physically, I don't like. I think very few people could. Like Rob is phenomenal.
Yeah. So, Richard, are you locking in with like first boot for the World Tribe?
He's a cheeky one night stand, and everyone would be happy if they had like Rob as a one night stand. I don't know. What?
Yeah. How about you, Shannon?
Well, we have
like,
one.
we
can only have one first boot, so I would put in pre-merge.
Okay.
Pre-merge. I'm happy with pre-merge personally. I can see him if he makes the merge. He's like the first one out of the merge, very similar to like a Joe Anglin like kind of spot, or sort of like Simon and Brent versus Braun. One sort of like the big guys, like, well, who do we take out? Well, why don't we take out the guy who literally looks like Mount Everest? Right?
Yeah.
I can sort of see him sort of going out in that spot. So he would chuck him into a cheeky old pre-merge. And Shannon, we've got Sarah. Sarah's come back. Can you bloody believe it? It's almost been like a decade since she last played, and we finally have her coming back. Like, are you feeling hyped to see Sarah come back and play again?
I mean, very, very hyped to see Sarah. I could see Sarah doing well. Like, I also think she, it may be underestimated. I think that she has connections. I think that she'll get along with people. I think that she can hide. I don't know that I have her as a winner, although I felt really good about her going out there before the game. And since then I feel like people need to have like maybe a bigger reputation to win a game like this where everyone is, of such high stature. But I feel like I would put her in jury duty.
Well, Richard, I was pretty high on Sarah until we had that small promo of Sarah come out recently, where she talked about how she wants to play more, not necessarily like a mateship kind of game, but she wants to play kind of a more like honest game, more clearer on who her allies were and stuff. But for me, especially pre-merge, that's where she worked really, really well, is that no one really knew who she was aligned with, but she was able to like really make that work for her, going all the way through up until her and Luke started to clash. Do you think this new strategy is going to work for Sarah, or do you reckon it's going to be the detriment to a game?
Yeah, I think, she's probably going to be the pre-merge queen in that, like, she's going to be good at making connections with everyone, even though she specified that this time she's going to try, like, narrow the list down so that people actually know who she's aligned with. So I think maybe the pre-merge would probably be the best spot for her, because she's really good at the game, but unfortunately, because, people couldn't place her, she ended up being in huge trouble. So, yeah, I think pre-merge is the best fit for her.
Yeah, I don't know. I low-key kind of feel like jury duty, because I'm going to feel like all the big names are going to start going at each other, very similar to Kirby. She's going to fly under the radar, but maybe she's sort of like that, like the lions and hyenas kind of debate, right? We're sort of like, well, there's so very few massive players left, like Parvati, Sigrid, Luke and stuff. Why don't we start taking out the smaller threats? Sort of like at the start of the merge. So that's where I personally see Sarah. How about you, Shannon? Like, are you?
I think we're in jury duty. We'd have like a whole Vanuatu thing going on here with like a whole jury of women and a male winner.
Yeah. I mean,
Most
if
people would not enjoy that trajectory of that season.
no. All right, so we check Siren to cheeky jury duty. Now we've got Shaunie. Shannon, how's Shaunie going to do this season?
I think Shaunie could be pre-merge, which is kind of sacrilegious, but I don't think it's a good spot for her just because she's less connected. I think that she's got options on the World Tribe. I think she and Parvati will love each other. I think she and Cass will get on super well, very similar phases of life. She's obviously a social butterfly. It's just not a great cast for her. She's played on the opposite side of David. She doesn't, she's had the issue with George that he voted her out after being her closest ally. She wants revenge on George. Like, I could see George being good fodder before her, but then I think it gets really tricky. So I think I'd put her pre-merge.
Yeah. How about you, Richard? Like, how far do you see Shaunie making it this season?
I mean, you can correct me here. She's made the jury every time she's played, correct?
That is true. Like I said for Sigrid, that is a good bet. So if that's the case, then maybe we should put her in the jury.
Yeah, I think she's...
Like, it seems stupid to bet against. To be fair, like, she was voted out of All Stars and then was saved by Exile, but that was also a very unfair and not unfair, but like unfortunate
circumstance
structure where it was an athlete alliance and they cared about like the physical aspect that I think will maybe be less important in this season, especially less important for the Australia tribe that I think is a little stronger and probably, thinks that they will be okay for a short-ish pre-merge.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. She does often make the merge. So maybe we should put her in jury duty. She always makes the merge.
Yeah, and she's been putting in a lot of work, like swimming and like doing Pilates. So I think she's going to be a challenge beast, and I can't wait for her to like win it all. So yeah, I'll probably put in
She's
like
also going to win.
Yeah, she's going to go toe to toe against David and Tony, and she's going to go toe to toe against Rob in a 1v1, and she's just going to win easy.
Yeah, if anyone can do it, it's Shaunie. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Shannon, my original theory on Sigrid and why I thought she was on season 50 is because I thought that there was going to be some kind of like Squid Game kind of challenge, where it's like, all right, you got to do 1v1 matchup. However, it's against Kaylin. Where he's accidentally medically evacuated 2 people. So my hot theory was that Sigrid gets medically evacuated, and that's why she comes back for season 50.
Oh my God. Well, that would be incredibly painful, and I would probably stop watching Australian Survivor. So hopefully that's not what happens with Sigrid.
Falling out in tears,
Yeah. Anyway, shall we chuck Shaunie into jury duty?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I don't think they should Sigrid wrestle. I think she's above wrestling. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, actually, Shannon, I don't know why. I just find this so funny, but I remember some of your earlier commentary in All Stars where you talk about all the wrestling challenges they did, and I just remember hearing you scream, "What if Shane Gould was still here?" What was
What would they have done though?
Yeah, like especially some of because I recall they did sometimes like mixed gender, like wrestling and stuff.
Yeah, they did. I remember. Well, and I remember they were. Yeah, right. All Stars was very very physical. Like Phoebe was in I remember like a wrestling thing that was like really intense. That was probably the one I was talking about.
Yeah, I think that's right. Because wasn't that on like a pontoon or something?
Yeah.
Like, all right. Just push each other off. Like there's no rules to this. Just flip the other one over, and then it's all over. But we've now got Tony, the 2-time winner of American Survivor, Mount Rushmore, phenomenal player. He comes on to Traders where he gets voted out, not for anything he's done, right? It's just the sort of like, oh my gosh, he won twice. Well, he's kind of dangerous. So let's get rid of him. And while I'd love to see a 3-time winner or, Tony to make it really far, I don't think he's going to make it that far. I don't think he's first boot. But I reckon he's pre-merge. What do you think about that, Richard?
Yeah, I think you're right. It feels right. I mean, I think in one of the promos he said that he won 3 million. Well, he doesn't know that David's actually won more than him. But yeah, it's like, played 3 times, won 2 times, won 3 million. So I think if anyone, this is a cast full of smart people that have made it far in the game. So it only makes sense for them to like take him out as early as they can. So yeah, I think pre-merge is the best fit for him.
Yeah. How about you, Shannon? Like, how far can you see Tony making it in the season?
I'd love him to win. I think the thing with Tony is he either wins or goes very early, right? So we kind of have to put him in one or the other, and Luke is my winner pick. So I guess I'm going to put him pre-merge, although I hope to be wrong. I don't think it's a great cast for him. I could see he is such a huge threat. He hasn't played Survivor since being a 2-time winner, and that is almost a bigger threat than even this whole cast has. And I don't think he's very well insulated. So I'd love to be wrong about him like everyone else was in both of his winning seasons, but I think pre-merge feels fair enough.
Yeah. I've heard people have the argument that like the first time he played, he won. The second time he played, he was early boot. He won. Early boot in traitors. He might.
Yeah, that's my argument.
Win.
Yeah, there's a lot of people's argument. That's the dream, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Shannon, how does Tony win this season? Like, if you were to craft a story on how he goes far, what pieces can you sort of see him pulling to go quite deep?
It would have to kind of be a similar thing to Winners at War, where people like him. People always like Tony. Well, not always. That's not the right word. But like often like Tony a lot. And people want to work with him and people have reverence for him. So he's kept around early. Then there are other big shields to take out. Then he just turns it on. Starts pulling the amazing Tony moves, takes it up a notch to level 150 like only Tony can. And then gets to the end. And if he gets to the end with pretty much anyone, there are some big names, but like a lot of people, I think he probably wins. Yeah, so how does Tony win? Tony plays at the Tony level from day one, which only Tony, I can't even conceptualize it because it has to come from Tony's brain. I can't, you know what I mean? But like, that's too big for me. But that's the way he wins, by being Tony in a way that's just like completely improbable.
Yeah. Because my sort of hot theory that I sort of said when we covered like Tony was I think he needs to separate himself as much as he can from Parvati and Suri and be like, look, they are a blocker too. I've got nothing to do with them. Use me to sort of take them out, and maybe he's got time to find an idol. Yeah. He does like the whole like the bag of tricks kind of things and stuff. And because I kind of feel like once he's got that sort of rolling, like it's pretty much like game over. Like I think Tony will then be able to like weasel his way to a swap or a merge with players like I can see like Luke working with him. I can see like David maybe working with him, even Kirby as well. I think he desperately needs some Australians on his side, and that's how he goes really far. But yeah, it's a hard road ahead for Tony. But if he somehow pulls it off, I mean, what a great season! Yeah. All right, so I'll chuck him into cheeky old pre-merge, and now we've got Tommy, Shannon. We saw Survivor Finland together. We covered Tommy on RHAP. How are you feeling about Tommy's chances overall?
I don't know. I find it so hard to work out where Tommy will go. I feel like maybe harder than anyone else. Like he's such an unknown quantity for everyone, but he's so easy to get along with. I don't know. I mean, if we put Cass pre-merge, I could maybe see him being in a similar spot where he's so unknown, but like he's likable enough to make it a little bit, but maybe not super far. But I could also see Jury Judy. Do you have any strong feelings about it?
Oh, it's hard because I know I said on RHAP where it's like my original feeling was first boot because I was like, all right, so most likely I could see like an all-girls alliance forming day one. Yeah. You've got 2 of the Black Widow Brigade. Tony's a huge shield. Rob is literally the size of Mount Everest, so maybe poor Tommy gets left out. But something that we saw in Survivor Finland was he's like a worker, right? The second Tony leaves camp, everyone's going to be paranoid. He's making a new spy shack, spy nest, or whatnot, offer the idol. You're going to see Parvati and Suri talking to people. It's like, oh, crap, you got to be careful. That's Parvati and Suri. But if Tommy's just doing his own thing, sort of like what Wendell was doing in Ghost Island, just constantly like making the shelter, making cool things and stuff. If everyone can see everything he's doing, you might want to keep him around because he's not really a threat.
Yeah.
And so that's how I sort of see Tommy making it really far in the game. But I can also see him being like, these are legends of the game. I want to step up to their level and maybe he tries like swinging like really hard or something. But I don't know. I might say pre-merge personally. I'd love for him to go like a lot further, but my gut tells me that like somewhere in the pre-merge, like late pre-merge, I would sort of put Tommy. How about you, Richard? Because I know you haven't seen this season and we've done a couple podcasts talking about him. How are you sort of feeling about Tommy?
Yeah, I tried watching the first episode. I couldn't understand the thing they were saying. Then I switched on the subtitles.
You have subtitles?
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, I don't understand what's going on here. Are they even saying what's being said in the subtitles? I'm like, okay, I'm done. One episode is enough for me of Sylviviet, Sumi, Survivor, whatever.
It got better. It got easier over time.
Oh, you got used to it. I was like, I don't know what's... But I feel like for me, Tommy's like, you know when you were a kid, you always felt like there was like a monster under your bed, or when you switch off the light, you start running away. He's like the unknown where you don't know if he's like good, bad, or what. So it's better to like get rid of him before he shows his true colors. So I feel like pre-merge would be a good spot for him because the unknown is scary.
Is he the monster in New Era? I mean, I haven't seen any of the recent New Era seasons, but your guy Jeff used to talk about in the early 40s, you know, like the game is now like a monster. It's always coming after you. Is that Tommy now, Richard? Is he the monster of Australian Survivor?
I mean, he has a wolf on his shirt. If that doesn't scream a wolf in sheepskin, then these guys are in for a banger.
Well, technically, he's a wolf in a wolf shirt. So he's like very much in wolf's clothing. So
he's like, get rid of me. Get rid of me.
Yeah. He should be in a sheep shirt. That would be the smart thing to do.
Yes. That's actually smart. Oh, good idea.
Yeah, or like, oh, no, you can't really go as like a goat because I feel like, you know, people will be like, oh, you're calling yourself the greatest of all time now, are you? So, yeah, a sheep shirt would be pretty bloody great.
Sheep, yeah. It's actually a smart idea.
Yeah. All right, Shannon, where are we going to chuck him? Pre-merge, post-merge?
Larger crop of Tony than I had my crop of Tony, I'm realizing, was really close in. I don't know why. Yeah, put him pre-merge. I don't know. I feel I don't know. I watched a whole season of him. I should have stronger thoughts, and yet I do not. So pre-merge is fine.
Pre-merge. Are you happy with that as well, Richard?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Well, I think we should win the season, so I think it's going to be my fifth.
Yeah, we're trying to get better.
Not your fifth. That would be like your 10th. Let me count. You had Sigrid. You had Luke.
George.
Did you say Kirby?
Yeah.
You said George. You said Shaunie.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. So fine. And Tony? Yeah. No, you don't think Tony. It's okay, only 5. All right. You came around in the end.
Yeah.
Like just less than half the cast. It's pretty close. But let's look at our rankings, guys. We've got Luke, winner chicken dinner. Then for Jury Dirty, we've got Sari, Kirby, Lisa, Parvati, Sarah, and Shaunie.
All women. Yeah.
All women.
Yeah. Really Survivor Vanuatu.
Yeah.
Samoa.
And for pre-merge, we've got David, George, Cassandra, Rob, Tony, and Tommy, with poor old Janine being the only cheeky one-night stand. How are we feeling about this, guys? We're feeling confident? Or are we all going to be wrong?
I was thinking today that after all of this preseason's content, like it will all probably be completely null and void within 5 minutes. Like I'm going to watch the first episode and be like, this was all irrelevant. Like hours and hours of time, 20 preseason podcasts now with this. That's a lot of time but I think they could all surprise me. I think that's the thing. Is like you have someone like Tony, pre-merge, Rob, some of the best players, George, David, some of the best players of all time who could all win. You have people who, Janine could win. Like it's very hard to know. Everyone could do well. So that's what I think makes it really tough. Yeah.
And if Luke is somehow the first boot, I won't spoil anything.
That's a big indicator.
But there will be signs. Like I will disappear off the map. Like you'll never hear about me for a few years. But I mean, I'm feeling happy with this list. I kind of feel like, I mean, as mentioned, Shannon, this season could really go in so many different directions. And I kind of feel like with all the preseason knowledge we have, different threat levels, relationships, and gameplays, I can kind of see this happening. But, there's so many wild cards. Who actually knows what on earth is actually going to happen in the season? But, Richard.
Yeah.
We're sort of coming to the end of the podcast. Any sort of final thoughts on Australia versus the world? We're finally done with the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking forward to the season in a long time. I really hope my favorites do win. And I'm trying to get my girlfriend to watch Survivor for the first time. And I think this is the best time to watch Survivor because it's like the best of the best. And that's the best way to sort of like introduce to the show. But yeah, outside of me having like half the cast as like my winner picks, I think If one of them win, I'd be happy nonetheless. But yeah, can't wait.
Your girlfriend is going to be more confused than us watching Survivor Finland with like 20 seasons of reality TV lore.
Yeah,
it's probably like based on like 60 seasons now, because it's like from international to like.
Well, to be fair, they also share seasons, but yeah, like also if you count all reality TV, then you've got Australian Big Brother, US Big Brother, multiple seasons of The Traders. You've got Amazing Race. You have The Face. You have Apprentice. Like
Deal or No Deal. Yeah.
Yeah, so much lore.
Very confused. That's actually probably a really terrible place to start with. Couldn't think of a worse place Can you have time in the next few days to watch like a lot of Survivor? Because you might need that.
Unless I played on like times 10 speed where she doesn't hear what I'm saying.
I don't even think, but I don't think that. I think if you were to start now and like 4 times every season that everyone was on, I don't think you could do it.
Yeah, Mission Impossible.
Also, then if you want, you have to like also do the other seasons because you want to like ruin Winners at War, ruin Heroes versus Villains. So you have to get those in.
So
this isn't the first. This is not only this is not the first season that someone should introduce you to someone. It's the last possible season. You watch everything else first before you watch this. But good luck to your girlfriend in that like near impossible task.
Yeah, better be taking notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Shannon, where can people find you? I mean, I know you're the most like popular Survivor podcaster out there. You're also a winner of Survivor as well, according to
producer of the show. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I did win Survivor EQ. That's my that's not, it's just called EQ. In my mind, it's Survivor. That's my claim to fame. Find me at Shannon Gates, WienerGlobalSurvivor.com. We cover the show after every episode with recaps 3 times a week, weekly shows with Rob Cessanino, X interviews with the cast. We have preseason content with about every player, a draft coming out, and It's a Look with Bryce Isaiah where we look at the cast photos. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and there's It's a Look. But thank you for having me, and I hope everyone enjoyed our tier list.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Shannon. Like, it really means a lot. I've really enjoyed podcasting with you about Tommy, and having this chat with you here has been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my first time being on a podcast with Shannon, and like Mucky says, no one ever forgets their first.
Exactly. And speaking of that, make sure you subscribe for some cheeky, naughty times. I haven't really been up to too much cheeky or naughty things, but one thing I did do while I was in Canada was every single shop I went into, I was like, bonjour, je m'appelle Michael. And then the workers would always start talking to me in French. And I'd just be like, nah, sorry, I don't speak French. You know, just like... just came across like a huge asshole, pretty much. Yeah.
You could have learned some with Survivor Quebec.
True. I learned a word. Survivor Quebec. Yeah. What's the one word that you learned?
I learned victoire when they won the challenges, like victory. I assume. Victory.
Yeah.
Victoire.
Maybe I should have like used that when I was in Canada. Like after I pulled the prank, actually, I don't speak French. I'm like, oh, what? I'd be like, victoire.
Yeah.
just really make them all confused. How about you, Richard? Anything cheeky or naughty that you've been up to?
If I did have anything cheeky or naughty, you guys probably wouldn't want to hear about it. So yeah, nothing on my side.
Yeah. And how about you, Shannon?
Yeah, just the content, all the Australian Survivor stuff people can check out. WienerGlobalSurvivor.com is where you can subscribe to the feed for that.
Yeah. So there's some pretty cheeky stuff right there. Just before we wrap things up, we will be doing 2 shows a week. We'll be doing a weekly recap of all the episodes and a new podcast. It's called Before the Snuffs, where useless Australian Survivor memes, Michelle and I will be getting all together to sort of do a brief talk about who we think is going out next right before the new week of episodes all start. So stay tuned for all that. I've been your host, Mucky Hope, Kakite Anō, and I'll catch you all in the next one.